Hey everyone, this is Noble Artist here, and today is kind of a combination of a tutorial slash how-to slash an experiment, because I'm going to be using a new color, a new paint that I haven't been using before, and it is this color. It's a blue. I mentioned this blue in a couple of videos in the past. It's the new blue that I got for the 501st Legion, because the other blues that I had, they just weren't really doing it. So I'm going to give this a try. I have two figures here that I was working on. I have here a Scout Trooper. Now this is fully, well, not fully, but all the armor is on. I do have some details. I need to put the back to tank, not back to tank, sorry, the thermal detonator back here. And I got a little, well, I might put another piece on these two pouches on the front. They pop out there. I might put a little bit more in there. Now I did try to make these figures just simple, just simple figures, paint them up, see how this paint works. Probably pop these on eBay when I'm done. I know everyone likes the 501st, so it'd be kind of cool to get some more of those out there. And then this here is just a regular clone trooper. Now all the armor on here, everything on this figure you can get with the battle pack that I do sell on my eBay, link in the description. So you'll have, I mean, you'll be able to do exactly what I do with that pack. Excuse me. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to paint this here and show you guys. I'm also going to be painting the helmet too, so it's kind of, that's why I said it's kind of a tutorial, because I'll be showing some tips and tricks on how to be painting on the helmet. Now I've never used this paint before, so I have no idea if it's going to dry super fast, super slow. I could take the cap off because it's not open, but I'm going to actually open it. So I don't really know how this paint is going to react. So if this fails, if this is a fail video, then I don't know. You can never really fail, because if I mess up, then I learned that this paint isn't a good type of paint. So even in a fail, I can have a victory. So let's get some of this paint happening. Now I'll start with the helmet and work my way down. I'll be painting the side pieces of the helmet right here, and then just the shoulder pad, and then the front piece, and then the knee pads, because that's the only blue that they have on them. I do have a clone reference. Let me take a look. I have good old website. Just getting another little quick sneak peek. Now they do have blue running down the visor, which is going to be a little bit tricky. I know this isn't the normal helmet, but they do have them. This helmet did have 501st. I'm going off of the Clone Wars, so this will also be kind of a longer video if I do paint a lot of this stuff. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show. If you have figures, you can work along with me. Whoa, I'm gonna back up. I was tripping over my words. Now the paint is bubbling up here, which I do leave it like that so I can use it. I'll let it bubble up there so I don't get it all over the place, and then I can just, you know, dab the brush into that little reservoir there. So I'm going to leave that as is, and we're going to start with the helmet. Now, one of the tricks of the helmet is, if you're painting the fin on the helmet, I suggest painting everything else first, because if you're painting over top of the fin, it's easier to get close to the fin and get a smooth line than it is to go from the helmet basically what I'm doing this way, from the bottom up. Just because you might get some paint rubbing up against the fin when you're doing this, but if you do that, then if you're painting the fin, it covers it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead. Again, I don't know how this paint reacts, so I'm just going to grab a little bit. Now, this isn't the thinnest brush in the world, but I am going to start at the back of the helmet. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. I kind of need to hold my hand down, but I don't know if you'll be able to see as I'm doing this. And there is a little bit of a shadow on the helmet from the figure. So easy little gentle strokes. I think if I am correct about this paint, I will be able to trim it. If it is too close to the fin, I'll be able to trim it back. Now I go very slow when you're doing the helmet. You might be able to notice that I'm doing one side. Now there are two sides. There's that side and then that side. I am kind of going, you know, a left stroke, left, right, and kind of just walking that paint down the helmet to make sure I get a straight line. You don't want to just go like whoosh with one big line, because you're going to mess up. Sometimes if you go really fast, I know if you're drawing and you do really quick with like a pen, then that's good. but this is something you want to take your time on. Now I am going to get some paint on the fin. It's inevitable, so I'm not even going to bother. A piece just came off because I'm not supposed to be doing it this way. Well, it didn't come off, it just came loose. I'm actually going to take it off because I don't want to mess it up. I put a lot of pressure on the centerpiece, which I don't really attach until the end just because of that reason. It's right in the middle, right where you need to grab your figure, and it's vulnerable to being pushed on too hard and broken off. There's not a lot of glue that holds that centerpiece on. I mean, the glue is really strong and the piece is strong, but not when I'm clamping down on it with a death grip on this figure, which I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so the first line, and make sure that it's lined up so it looks straight down. We want a little bit thicker at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and turn around. You know, get different angles. Start at the top right there, and then I'm just going to do that just a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. Now I gotta remember if that crosses over or not. It does. Sorry, it's been a while since I did a 501st Trooper, so I'm like, does this do that? Does this do that? Now the hardest part is mimicking what you just did, because trying to do the same thing on the other side but getting the right like depth is really tricky, because it's hard to make both sides of anything look the same when you're painting them. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get that same look on the other side of this helmet. Again, you don't really have much to go off of. You just paint a line down it and hope that it's not too thick, because if it's too thick, if it's too wide, then you'll have to do it again. Or not again, you'll just have to widen the other side, and that kind of goes back and forth until you get it to the right point. Now, I know I said I go left, right. That's just one technique. This side, I actually have a lot more paint, and I'm pressing down just ever so slightly on the brush to kind of let the bristles spread out a little bit and gives me a wider stroke. And the first time I was painting with this, I didn't really have a feel of the paint. Now that I do, I can go at a different pace. So this this is not glue, this is paint. This paint is interesting. It's kind of thick, like it's kind of not blobby, and that's what the back is going to look like. So pretty even on both sides. Even this one part out just a little bit. It's hard to tell. I don't know if I like... I mean, I love the color of it. I just don't know if I like the texture of it. Because texture is everything. Oh, my hand's so wobbly. And I don't really have paint thinner. Well, kind of, but not really. So I can't really water this down and make it not as thick. See, that was the problem with my apple barrel paint too, was it went on somewhat smooth, but when it dried, it just looked rough. Now, Tester's paint is perfect. If I could find a good combination of a Tester's paint. So not bad. So that is the start of the helmet. I gotta paint the side piece and then down the front. Now, I'm hoping this paint does turn out to be a good paint, because I got this color, this flesh color too, and I really, really want to use this because, like I mentioned before, I'm trying to do other things than Star Wars. I'm going to start making superheroes, and I really want to do like Batman, Superman, and the Avengers and Justice League, and like just all those characters from all the movies and stuff. I really want to do those, and I'm going to need more flesh tone figures because they're all like humans and whatnot, and they don't really have helmets, and they have sleeves and arms and things you need to see. Now this part right here is kind of tricky because the top part you need to have it squared off, and so is the bottom, because if you leave it rounded, it just doesn't look like it's connecting it properly. So put a little sliver there. You might not be able to see it. My camera is not really going to want to focus. I'll show you when I'm done both sides. So yeah, I really want that to work because I'm going to start doing. I think I want to do a Superman and Batman figures. Or probably just Superman and Batman to start with. Oh no. I got some where it doesn't need to go. But that's okay. I'm going to try to scrape it off when I'm done. So yeah, I want to do some of those figures and see how they go, because I know a lot of people are into that, and I'm into it. I think it's pretty cool. So I'm going to try to make some of those figures. So that is what we got so far. Get my other hand out of the way. And then we're going to paint the little, we're going to kind of cone that middle part, or it's going to come down at an angle. Bring it all together. I don't know if my voice sounds muffled too, because I'm kind of facing down. But this here is kind of like a triangle shape that I don't know if I'm going to mess up. I really need a new brush. This brush is you know, after several years, paintbrushes sort of lose it. They kind of lose their edge. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So now I have that line down the center. Pretty even, pretty even. I'm going to, so that's the helmet so far. I normally scratch off that gray part, but I'm not going to do that for this one. And I paint inside of the gray. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the insignia on the chest, the arms, and then the knee pads. And then for this guy, I might just paint his helmet, because the rest of his body is the same as this one. And I'm trying to prevent this video from being like 2 years long. But it's okay. I don't mind making longer videos. I enjoy it. I'm working, I'm talking, I'm having fun. I hope you all are watching it, and I don't know if you're talking, but I hope you're having fun. So this part is going to be a little tricky. I'm actually going to get, I do have a clone, a 501st clone. Now this is not a Lego clone. This is an off-brand. This is actually a terrible example. This is an off-brand one that I have, and I was like, I need to look at this. My computer's over there and it just went to sleep, and I don't want to go wake it up to look at the picture, but I'm pretty sure it's just a straight line and then it kind of branches. I'm gonna double check. I better double check than do it wrong. Okay. I'm basically just Googling a Google image of a clone trooper. That's the one. Okay, I got it. We're good to go. Good to go. Get some fresh paint on my paintbrush. Hoping and praying that this works. Now I don't need to put the helmet on. I don't want to accidentally touch it and mess it up. So it's going to go right there. I normally have another figure, like Jarvis here. He can wear it so it doesn't fall over. Alrighty. That also leaves up some room here on the chest area. So let's go ahead and put a little line just on the center right here. Making sure that that is a straight line. Now from here, it kind of has a angle to it, so we're going to put a little bit of an edge, or a little bit of a, almost a spike. It's a kind of a diamondy shape, or an arrow, or an A. And that kind of branches off, so it's going to branch that off to this side. And then do the same branching off to the other side. Again, like I said, it's kind of hard to mimic stuff. Now, before this looks like the Eiffel Tower, I'm painting on his chest. I'm going to try to get in here and get some of these details. I saw this one dude, he used a toothpick for his fine detail, and I thought about doing that. I mean, I actually do use toothpicks for some painting, but for like little dots and stuff. Okay, this is difficult. But I don't know if that's like a good idea for everything. You know, something they need, it's, the problem with a toothpick is it doesn't hold a lot of paint on it. So when you try to use it, it just I don't know. I just never found it a reliable way of painting on the figures. So this might be a little bit of an exaggerated shape for this chest, just because I'm getting used to this paint and it's kind of messing up. So at this point I'm just sort of going at it. I'm actually just going to cover this whole thing blue and then go back over it with some white. I'll go back over it with white paint and put in that centerpiece. I'm way off camera. I'm sorry. See, I need to get a better setup. Like if it was like in front of me and I was reaching my arms around, but even that, it's just kind of cramped. So I do apologize because I wasn't really paying attention to where the figure was. You guys couldn't even see it barely. I was just talking. If you don't like this video, I understand. Okay, this paint is getting kind of thick. So I painted an A basically on his chest, which that's basically all it is. It's a thin A. I mean, look at it. That one has a thin A. My computer is getting on my nerves. I turned around thinking, oh, I'll get another little reference glimpse of what I'm trying to do, and it's just like a black screen. It's like, joke's on you. Okay. Well, you know, some things aren't going to get any better than they are. So that is going to be it for now. I will put a little bit of white in the center of that when this dries. And yeah, moving on. So I'm actually going to shake my paint up a little bit. I need to get some fresher paint. Get another little glob at the top. Now we're going to do the shoulder pads. Shoulder pads are probably the simplest piece just because it's just a round circle. Put a big blob on the shoulder pad. And then just work it in there. Making sure you get the edges, because if you do have a piece like this that I have, you can still see the metal silver outlining on the edge if you don't paint the edge. So you can start there and then work your way in. And if you want to get underneath there, you can. No one's really going to see underneath there. Sometimes I'll put some under there, but really you're not going to see it unless you like really flip the figure upside down and inspect it. Alrighty. So that is that side. I'm gonna do the other side. I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm digging this paint. The color, I love the color. Like I said, I just, you know, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or if I'm supposed to be mixing it with something, or it might be my paintbrush, honestly, but I don't get it. Like, unless I'm not using it for its intended purpose, but who makes paint that's like blobby? Who wants blobby paint? Who wants crunchy pudding? Oh man, that's another reason why I use testers so much, because yeah, it's more expensive. It's a higher quality paint, but it's smooth. Yeah, I'm not. Look at the chest. I'll try to focus on this. Well, let me finish this figure real quick and let it dry. And it could just be. I honestly think it might be my brush being really rough, because it's not that bad on the helmet. I'm gonna blame my brush for now, but let me use this brush. This is a newer brush. Newer meaning I haven't used it very often. It is a thicker brush, so that's the problem. I can't get it. You get like a little bit, and then it just goes all like, if you have a big brush, you try to put a little detail, and it's like blop, and it just goes everywhere. Now I know the knee pads, it goes down, over, and up, but I'm gonna go over the top. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go over the top just because it looks better for this type of figure. And it's custom, so it can break some of the rules. And I don't exactly have the proper shape anyway, so it's not going to be terrible. So anyway, if you made it this far into the video, you are awesome. And you deserve a cookie. Go to your kitchen and get a cookie. If you don't have a cookie, I'm sorry. Any other sweets will suffice. And also, if you made it this far, you'll know that I have a super mega big order coming from a good old eBay. A lot of people ask me where I get my Legos, and you are going to find out. If I had a lot more money, it would be a bigger order, but this is the biggest order I've ever ordered. The biggest order that has ever been ordered by me ordering things. If I say the word order one more time. So yeah, it's just a lot of figures. I'm not going to tell you how many, but I'll show you. You'll see it's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, so I need to touch that up a little bit over there, but painted the blue on the knees, so not too shabby. The figure is very simple. I mean, it's a lot of white, a little bit of blue here and there, and then he has blue on the helmet. Now, if it's me wanting to make it more epic, I would put more blue on it and do other things, but I'm trying to make a traditional figure, or just close to it as I can. I know I can't really make a traditional figure with, like, you know, certain pieces of armor like they don't actually have, like the knee pads and whatnot. But this is what the figure fully looks like, painted, or with the blue on it. It's not bad, not too bad. I like it. And you can see up there the helmet, it does have some up in that top part, which I'm going to see if I can scratch that off. But this here is the 501st figure. I'm going to try to get close to the chest, and maybe you can see what I was referring to if it focuses. Okay. Try to get some light on it. Okay, so when the light's on it, do you see how it looks kind of, there's different textures to it, like it's a little rough? I think that might be due to the paintbrush. I'm hoping it is, because if you look down by the feet, and that kind of has like a nice clean like shine to it, how it looks smooth. I painted that with a newer brush. The helmet, it's smooth just because I had a lot of the paint on it. And then again with the shorter pads, it gets to that rough look again. So I don't know, guys. I think it might be the paintbrush. I'm hoping, because I can visibly see a difference between the two brushes that I used. So I'm not going to rule this paint out completely, because I do like it. I've already painted the figure. I'm going to paint this one the same way, and either way I'm going to be selling them as I paint them as they are, and they're going to turn out great. So anyway, to get this off the fin, you just take an X-Acto knife, and I am totally winging this. I've never done this with this type of paint, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, sweet, it works. Sweet. Okay, so get some of these bigger pieces off. Now this part right here, you can use again, I say these things like I do it all the time. I've never done this before with this paint. So, but you gotta have confidence. You take a toothpick, and then you can get right up to the edge. I'm actually gonna get a new toothpick because that one has some glue on the end of it. We don't want that. Now I do use a toothpick because if I use like a sharp or X-Acto knife, I can cut into the helmet, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to try to do this. I push it on my finger, so hopefully it stays. I'm going to give it an angle. I don't know if you can see any of that, but you're just going to take your toothpick and then push it along the edge. And the good thing about doing this is that you're not going to push into the part of the fin that you did. There's a fuzzy. You're not going to scratch into the helmet. You're just going to get that top part off. I need some more lighting. Does anyone else agree? Does I need more lighting? Why is it so dark? Maybe if I come at this angle and just do it this way. Yeah. Okay. So just scraping that off. Now keep in mind this paint is dry, like it's dried. I can touch it, but it is able to be scratched off the figure. But this does have a more sturdy feel than Apple Barrel for sure. Maybe not a whole lot, like a whole lot stronger. But I can tell that it does have a little bit of quality. I did accidentally nick a little too much right there. It's going to be a beauty mark. I'm just going to leave it because it might be worse trying to add it back. But yeah, you can see how, well, you might not be able to see because it's a small piece, a really small piece. But this toothpick just cleans it right up. Now I cut a lot into this one. But that's just because I'm going fast and I'm not being smart like I should be because I'm just rushing. But I'm just trying to show you what it can do. I'll go in there and clean up that detail, the pieces that I scratched, because I was going fast and I'm at a weird angle, so I just pushed this down too far. But you can see that for the most part, let me just get all of it off. Okay. For the most part, it's not coming up onto the fin. It's smooth along there, which is you want a smooth edge. So that's how you clean off that. I did get a little bit down here. Let's see if it works the same down here. I got on that black piece and just gonna smear that off like so. So yeah, that's a good way to clean up your stuff with a little toothpick like so. But that is the helmet. Pretty awesome. I like the lighting better. I should have done it this way from the beginning. It looked dark like a dungeon the other way. So you might be able to see it better if I hold it up this way, how the knee pads look really smooth and all shiny. And then the chest looks kind of rough, and then the shoulder pads, it's like a mixture between the shoulder pads. I don't mind the way that turned out, but yeah. So that's the 501st Trooper, or just the plain 501st clone. And that was it. I mean, granted, 26 minutes. I did a lot of talking at the beginning and then in between and all that stuff. So if you were just straight up painting, you could probably do this a lot faster. But that's pretty good. That's a pretty good time. Wow. Okay, I just got paint everywhere. I had some and I did this and it got on my thumb. It got on my arm. There's dots of it all over the place. Please tell me I didn't get it on anything I shouldn't have. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to paint a little bit of this guy's helmet real quick. While we're here on the subject, I am going to use this other brush though. It is a bigger brush, so that's why I didn't really want to use it, because it's hard to get details with it. Well, so we'll see. Okay, I'm actually gonna get a little bit of this paint on the rim, like that. That's all you need, just a little bit. You can always go back for more, but if you get too much, then you just waste it. Alrighty, so for this helmet, we're going to do a full red or full blue on the top of that little knob, the little cylinder, and then this round piece on the back. And I don't remember seeing a Scout Trooper, if I were first Scout Trooper. They might have had one, I can't remember. So actually, yeah, it had a line straight down it, but I don't want to do the line. I want to do something different. We're going to do our own thing because this is going to be cooler. And I just painted a straight line on the last guy. I'm going to try to keep the paint going in the same direction. Maybe that might help. If anything, these big paint lines will be in the same direction, right? Am I right or am I right? And again, I'm not going to be too worried about getting it off of the out of line, because I can just go in there with that little toothpick and do some detailing. Now, for those who are thinking, oh, I'm pressing really hard, I can hear stuff crunching on my hands. That's the thing. I'm not focused on how lightly I'm holding this. A lot of people might think, oh, you just paint like terrible and you just go through it afterwards and clean up. No, I paint really. I try to get it right the first time. And if I don't get it right the first time, then I usually restart. I'm a perfectionist with a lot of stuff. But for the sake of this video, and for those who don't get it right the first time, I'm going fast and then showing you how you can correct your errors. I'm not going to call them mistakes. I don't like, this is, okay. Gamma. This is going a lot longer than I wanted it to. But you might say to yourself, Hey Noble, why don't you edit this video so we're not sitting here all the rest of our lives? That's a good idea. That's a really good idea, but I don't want to edit the video. It's going to take a while. Editing just not fun because, I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, I like doing it. It just takes so much time. Oh, it slows. I'll get out, and then once I make my video and it's in iMovie, then I gotta wait for it to render, and it takes hours and hours, and I got a life to live. If this was like a really, really important video, then, I mean, it's kind of, all my videos are important, I like them, but I'm just kind of goofing off of the new painting the 501st Trooper, which you've seen a million times. Okay, so I don't know if it's the paint now or my brush, because I painted this brush. It might just be because it's a big area, but take a look at that. Just look at it. If it focuses, I don't know. I think I got too much light coming through my window. That's the problem. It's not going to focus. Okay, well, if you could see it, you would see how there's a lot of lines in it. It's just, you might be able to see it now. There's just a lot of lines. Like there and there. And I just paint, and it just puts more lines. Like when I put a stroke, a line forms on either side of my brush. If anyone knows more about paint, and you know how that happens or why that happens and why does it happen to me constantly, let me know. Okay. I'll clean that up. So now that is that, we're going to take another piece and do this bottom half. Now normally I might do this bottom half a different color, like gray or something like that, but I figured why not. Why not? A little bit easier to get it straighter on here. I don't know if the technique I'm using is wrong for this brush. If there's a certain technique you need for this brush and paint. I feel like I'm an amateur. I just got quiet and I heard this bird chirping outside. I'm not sure if you could hear it, but it was just like, I don't really hear any noise but this bird. It's really peaceful. And my face is hovering over my camera, so if my voice sounds like I'm like yelling at you because it's really close and it's loud, I do apologize. I don't mean to yell. Okie dokie. So, at this point, it's just kind of making a... Okay. Oh, okay. So, that may look a little rough around the edges because it is rough around the edges. It is actually very rough around the edges. But those edges can be smoothed out. I guess, more or less at the end of the day, this video was just an experiment. For this paint. And some tips and tricks on how to paint helmets and whatnot. I do apologize if it was just weird and didn't work out. I wasn't expecting a lot of this to happen the way it happened. I don't plan for any of these things, they just happen. I'm also going to put this on this body so you can kind of have an idea of what the Scout Trooper might look like. That's a terrible idea what he looks like because he has a different shape or different like everything. So yeah, I'm not too happy with this paint. I'm actually going to paint some of the tan on a face just to see what that looks like real quick. This was unscheduled. I wasn't going to use this tan, but I'm going to. Now, I have a lot of these blackheads, so I'm going to be painting on that. And if I did do a figure or something else other than Star Wars, I would use these blackheads too. So right off the bat, I can see that. I can see. You can see right through it. Oh man, I might have to make more than one coat. Or I can glob it. I'm not a fan of globbing paint. I mean, I could do this if it doesn't, I mean, if it's the only way to get it on there, but at the same time, when it's globbed, their skin's gonna look uneven. Nobody wants uneven skin. Ew. I don't know if it's my paintbrush or my paint or me. Maybe it's because you're ugly. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna let this dry and put a couple coats on it and see how that works. But yeah, I know last time I was like, oh, this paint's perfect. It looks great. It's awesome. Blah blah blah. But it probably doesn't work. I don't know. I'll let it dry, do its thing, let you guys know in an update later in the week how this turns out. In the meanwhile, I will continue the search for better paint. I know there's a lot of really good paints. I can't remember the name, but I've been watching a lot of people on YouTube, and they do like sculpting and stuff, and they use these really good paints for that. So I could just be using the wrong paint. Oh, I got some on his leg right there. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to do some research on paints. I hope somehow, if you managed to get anything out of this video, I know it's a long video. If you made it to the end, you're super awesome. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And yeah, if you learned anything from this, then that's super great. If you didn't, don't be hating, be appreciating. And just chalk this up as one in a million. Like, I don't make crap videos, or not crap videos. I just don't make random videos like this that don't really have a good direction. So I do apologize if this was all over the place. It's kind of an experiment, and I decided just to record my experiment. So yes, with that being said, you all have a super fantastic, wonderful, awesome day. Don't forget to fist pound that subscribe button, bam! And I'll leave a link to my tutorials up in here. Go check those out. They're a lot better than this one. Have a lot of cool stuff going on with that. I don't know what this hand motion's for. Also, if you're the first person to leave a comment on my video, I'll give you a shout out up in here. If you have content in your video, I will leave a link to that as well. Also, if you made it to the end of this video, then you will have the privilege of knowing that the contest is coming out soon. I will probably be doing it on what day? What am I going to be doing that on? I have a dentist appointment on the 21st. I think I might make it the end of this month. I know it's 15 days away. But I probably will officially start it at the end of this month. But in an update, I will be probably this weekend in the Sunday review set. I'm going to announce the contest, or I might do an update probably on one of those days, because I have some stuff lined up before that. But I'm leaning heavily towards a night, just like a standard night, or a superhero contest. So I wanted to do something other than Star Wars. So night or superhero, it's going to be one of those two. So just keep that in mind. Don't really do anything yet, but you can get kind of prepared. But it's going to be one of those two, just so you know. Anyway, this video's gone on way too long, so y'all take care. God bless. Have fun with your figures. Let me know how they go. Leave a link down, or leave a comment down below. If you have any videos of your customs, I'll go check them out. I also have two things that were sent to me from fans, which I got to open up and make some reviews on those anyway. Alrighty, I've gone on way too long, so y'all have a super fantastic, awesome day. I've already said that before, but just, okay, bye.